All right, I'm here with Kim English, new head coach of Providence basketball. How you doing? Happy Father's Day. I know a little late. I want to talk a little bit just about that in terms of non-basketball related things. In terms of you've had so much going on. You know, you're a head coach at George Mason for 2 years. Now you're moving up to Providence. Just for you personally, kind of what grounds you throughout this process, these big changes, in your life.
Yeah, no, it's pretty consistent. My relationship, with God, my relationship with my family, especially my daughters, and my team. It's like I don't really think of my life without basketball. It's much less of a work-life balance and just more of a circle in which basketball is a part of my life. My life's a part of basketball. My family's a part of basketball. It's all together, and it's good. It's worked. It's worked okay for me.
Definitely. And, we talked, I think it was only 3 months ago, we're kind of getting ready for George Mason, the off season. And then, here we are now, mindset, the billboards are on, 95. I saw it put on the practice facility. How excited are you just to kind of get this going? Cause I know there never really is a time to settle in, you jumped in the heat of it.
Yeah, well, having gone through it before, obviously helped this time. Um, having a staff, which we already have the camaraderie, that we know the way we operate on a day-to-day basis, being able to maintain a nucleus of this Providence group and being able to bring in a core of our George Mason guys, it began to feel really familiar right away. And the support of all of Providence, support at the college, support in the community has been incredible. Um, our staff has done a tremendous job, as they're transitioning with their families and wives, moving up, them not being here, the kids finishing school in Virginia, has allowed us to really have a lot of late nights in the facility, getting the pieces together as we, really try to capitalize on an incredible opportunity of inheriting a really good group.
Definitely. And, I think you had mentioned this, and I think it's clear in college basketball now, kind of retaining is as big as recruiting. I don't want to go through the roster, but just to be able to, like you said, feel like it's unique, retain, these guys in a new position you're in at Providence, and then also to bring that core from George Mason. I know you touched on it, but just that familiarity with both, they are close, and you also are bringing
Yeah.
a Mason group that's close.
Yeah, got to learn these guys' games quickly through film, and really just fell in love with all the ones that stayed, and even Ed Croswell, who's graduating but still around. It feels like Ed Croswell is still on our team. He's pick up with our guys. The other day, he's still around and very present. But Bryce, Devin, Jaden, Corey Floyd, Slim. Um, very important pieces, that we got to retain, that have held Providence basketball to a high standard, for some time. And, for us to add guys that understand our standard. And a lot of those qualities and standards are the same, so it doesn't feel like a lot of newness, so far. Yeah, the way we play maybe a little bit different, but the most important thing is continue to play really hard, continuing to play together, and for us to integrate this group with one another.
Definitely. And with Ticket and Josh, obviously Justin as well coming on board, but specifically with Oduro, and obviously I've watched him play kind of in my covering of the A10. We talked about it. We've talked about him a couple times now. Sometimes there is this sense, okay, well, will this game translate to a new conference? Let's say the Big East. I think with the portal, it's pretty obvious if you can produce, especially in a conference like the Atlantic 10, there's no worries there. But just what he's going to be able to bring, but what you're looking for him to kind of improve upon as he does move up into a different conference.
I mean, he's back to back first team All Atlantic 10. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if he didn't follow his coach to a place, maybe. I mean, I don't care. Like,
Yeah, no, of
I
course.
couldn't care less what any media member says about
No.
anything or any questions that may arise. We don't have those questions when we built this roster. We're not listening to that commentary. So no, just I'm very excited to see, Josh mesh with this group, and I think he's going to do extremely well.
You've had, I think, a couple weeks now of the guys working out together. Just how are you enjoying, again, not getting to know them, but just the vibe, the energy that they're bringing?
Yeah, it's been good to see them come together. It's really important to me how together the group is. Whenever Shaka spoke about the Marquette team last year, he talked about how much they liked one another. That's so important, to how cohesive a team is. And, Shaka always described his team as he's happy that they really liked each other. I don't think it's any accident that the Big East tournament champion this past season. So that's what this offseason has been about. Obviously, it's implementing our structure and systems, but for the guys, the group, to get to know one another, fall in love with one another, spend time with one another, fight with one another, compete against one another. And we have a trip to Spain end of August that I think is going to add to that, and really excited about it.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to ask about. I don't know if you personally, through your, at Missouri or even professionally, if you've taken those trips, but the value that those trips can add, obviously, to a team and the camaraderie of that.
Yeah, it's great. I took one as a freshman at Missouri, and we had a really good season. I went to the Elite Eight, won a Big 12 tournament. Colorado, to Italy. Bonds are built, because you get to force those times together. And I think it's important because, again, we are post-COVID, where our student athletes have become accustomed to isolation and being by themselves because they've had to be. So as we're coming out of that, we're kind of reintegrating, reteaching our guys. It's like, someone coming off of a catastrophic leg injury, learning how to walk again. They're learning how to be around each other and not on their phones at meals, how to leave practice and go do something with each other instead of just, retiring back to your dorm room. So it's been an exciting summer. My favorite moments are on the court with them, obviously. I can't get enough time with them.
Yeah, no, it's great. And, last question, just the Big East, you look at it, I personally think best basketball conference, in America has been the way they've been able to retool. You look at the coaches that are in that conference, you're now part of that. Just the challenge, right? I know you're not going against coaches, but just to prepare for the teams and the history and being a part of that, how special is that, or will that be?
Yeah, I love the history of the league. Love the history of the league. Love the fanfare. Love the cities. Love the Big East tournament. I grew up loving Big East basketball, as a kid. Now it looks a lot different than the Big East that I grew up watching, but it's maintained. It's been the only basketball conference that's been able to, maintain its high major status when the football divide took place. I'm really excited, and nothing changes to what the goal is, right? The goal is, it's to get the intelligence onto the court. That is the challenge of coaching. Which coach can do a better job of that? And I'm excited. I'm really excited about the challenge.
Awesome. Well, I don't need to tell you this or anyone else. Obviously, I know PC is excited about this. I know it's been a lot going on for you. So hoping you're finding your rest when you can. But, I do appreciate the time as always.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Nate.